How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hip Drop Podcast, what is usually the Wednesday edition. Actually, on a Wednesday this time, Lucas and I will look ahead to Week 15. We will talk about some big storylines around the NFL, whether it's results from Week 14 or some interesting quarterback signings around the NFL. But first of all, before we get into all that, Lucas, how you doing today?
I am doing all right. It's getting colder here in Minnesota, so I got to bundle up. But other than that, and the Chiefs sucking, I've come to terms with that. But I'm all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I mean, here in Nebraska, I mean, it was actually borderline t-shirt and shorts weather yesterday. It was in the 50s, which to me, like that's t-shirt shorts weather. Today it was in the 30s, so it was significantly colder today. I'm preparing for what's to come. But I prefer the cold to the hot. I prefer winter to summer, substantially. That's just my personal preference. But we won't talk about Minnesota. We won't talk about Nebraska. We're going to talk about Indianapolis, Indiana, where the Indianapolis Colts, obviously their starting quarterback Daniel Jones suffered a unfortunate popped Achilles in Jacksonville on Sunday. Anthony Richardson is on IR with a injured eye socket. Riley Leonard, who is their third string quarterback, rookie quarterback from Notre Dame, uh, suffered a minor knee injury in the Jacksonville Jaguars game. So they signed a former Colts quarterback out of retirement to their practice squad to potentially start some games for them down the stretch. And it's not Andrew Luck, who's 34 years old. It's Philip Rivers, who is 44 years old. I don't know if Andrew Luck's 34. He's in his 30s. Anyways, 44-year-old Philip Rivers, who played for the Colts one season. It was up until now, his final NFL season. Philip Rivers Lucas last played in the NFL in 2020. The last game he played was January 9th of 2021. It was a wild card round in Buffalo in the COVID season. It was a close game. They fell short there. But it has been 4 full NFL seasons plus 14 weeks since Philip Rivers has taken an NFL snap. This is unfathomable to me. This is insane. I mean, Rivers was teasing a comeback in his early retirement, but I thought the ship had sailed at that point. Nope. He is back and maybe is going to start against Seattle. It feels like it's either him or Riley Leonard if he's healthy to go. Maybe Rivers starts down the stretch. Lucas, this is wild to me. What do you think of this?
I could not believe this is real. I thought it was like a joke, like they one of
I
those
thought
like
it was
troll
I thought it was
accounts.
like one of those parody accounts, like Ballsack
Yeah, me
Sports,
too.
and yeah,
Like I think this is the most shocked I've ever been for a piece of news, like that I thought was real. Since like remember that weird report like 5 years ago where it was rumored that the Browns would hire Condoleezza Rice as their head coach, something like that. Like they were
yeah,
interested, and
yeah.
and then she ended up joining the Broncos like ownership group. I'm like, what the heck is happening right now? If you don't know who Condoleezza Rice is, congratulations. But she used to be like the Secretary of State back like 20 years ago or something like that. But
Yeah.
like the fact that I just could not believe this is real. Like I thought it was like BS, like the Colts were just trying to get attention. Nope, they actually signed him and they had a press conference. So
Yes, they had the press conference
I got
today.
to be honest, I love this so much because the Chiefs season is over. So like I'm just rooting for chaos in the AFC. Like I I don't really at this point, I don't care who wins the Super Bowl as long as like the Colts and Philip Rivers can eliminate the Bills and or the Broncos in the playoffs. If I get one of those things, I'm going to be very happy because I can't imagine the only thing more hilarious than the Bills losing again and not reaching the Super Bowl is them not reaching the Super Bowl in a year where the Chiefs don't even make the playoffs. And to make it more embarrassing, they lost a game to a quarterback who's been retired for almost 5 years. Like that
Yeah.
at that point, the Bills should just give up if they lose to Philip Rivers in the playoffs.
And the thing is, Philip Rivers was a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame. Now, I don't think he would have gotten in this year. Drew Brees would have gotten in over him, obviously. Larry Fitzgerald would have gotten in. I think Rivers had to wait a couple years. If he takes a snap, he will be ineligible. Actually, no, even if he doesn't take a snap, if he gets signed to the active roster, he is not eligible for the Hall of Fame until after the 2030 seasons. We have to wait another 5 years to get in. Look, I don't know when he's going to start. I feel like it'd be pretty silly to start him against Seattle in that environment against that defense. If you want to give him the start against, give him the ball against the Niners in the Monday night game. Look, the Niners aren't exactly a walk in the park either, but it's at home. It's in the controlled dome environment. I don't know. I don't see this ending well. I mean, Philip Rivers like never was a mobile quarterback. He probably just can't move at all now. Never had the greatest arm in the world. Probably can't throw more than 15 yards down the field now. I don't know how this is going to work. Like I just look, I don't think Riley Leonard is anything special. I feel like Riley Leonard would be a better option. Riley Leonard can at least move. Riley Leonard can at least like somewhat push the ball. I don't know, but like I don't know. I'm very curious to see how this goes. I don't think the Colts are going to make the playoffs. Spoiler alert. But at least this ups the entertainment. This is one of the wildest stories in a while.
It's I don't even know what to say. Like if he
Yeah.
actually plays a snap, like even if it's in garbage time, it would be one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. Like
Yeah.
it's just
Like
like
legitimately.
out of all out of all retired quarterbacks, Philip Rivers, like even like there have been some recently retired quarterbacks they could have called out.
Like Derek
Philip
Carr,
Rivers,
Ryan Tannehill, you know,
like
even
yeah,
Cam
like
Newton. Yeah.
it's I am just rooting for this to be true so much. Like it is,
Yeah.
or by sure I mean actually play for a snap.
Yeah.
Like
Not just stand on the
and it's not going
sidelines.
to happen. Yeah, Philip Rivers is not going to win a playoff game for the Colts this year. But if he somehow does, like I might just buy a jersey because one of my best friends is a Colts fan. If he wins a playoff game, like I might go 50-50 in a Philip Rivers jersey with him when we would share custody, like it's a kid or something like that. Like that's how amazed I would be.
Yeah, I mean, this is incredible. This is I feel like it got to be the longest thing of retirement for a player. I mean, like I said, 4 full seasons. I was a sophomore in college the last time Philip Rivers played. The class that just graduated college this past May were still in high school when Philip Rivers was still playing in the NFL. Um, Pretty wild. And if it's pretty wild that his first start, if he does in fact get the ball this week, if his first starts in Seattle against Mike McDonald in that defense. It should be interesting to see what happens, whether it's him or Riley Leonard. All right, the Colts still have a shot at the playoffs, Lucas. They're 8-5. Here are two teams that have less of a shot, and it's two teams that we came into the season calling contenders. We thought these two teams were bona fide Super Bowl contenders. They had been among the top of the AFC over the last couple of years. That's no longer the case. It's the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. We already covered the Chiefs quite a bit in our last segment. We'll spend a little bit more time on the Ravens. I just think both these teams need to look in the mirror and say this iteration of the team is not winning. In the Chiefs' case, another Super Bowl, or in the Ravens' case, a Super Bowl. It's not happening. We got to tear this thing down and we got to make some changes. And for the Ravens, like we mentioned, maybe that's at the head coach position. For the Chiefs, they got to like make a lot of changes on the personnel side, particularly on defense. A lot of guys there that just don't have a I just don't see in the future of this team. Massively disappointing season for both of them. It would take a miracle for the Chiefs to get in the playoffs. The Ravens less so because their conference is fairly easy. But their schedule coming up is no walk in the park by any stretch. So, Lucas, we'll try not to spend too much time on this. What team do you think will be back to their contending ways sooner? The Kansas City or Baltimore?
I'm going to go with Kansas City just because I think that Kansas City is going to be more aggressive with how they overhaul the team, just by roster wise. Baltimore, the biggest wild card for them is can Lamar Jackson get back to his MVP form? Like he's not
Yeah.
the oldest quarterback ever, but like his style of play doesn't exactly have the highest longevity. Like I understand he got hurt and the hamstring
Mhm.
injury caused him to miss about a month and hasn't been quite been the same. He's been very bad this year. Like
He has not been good.
he's been worse than Mahomes, which that's pretty hard to do. Like
Oh boy.
like, I'm speaking a little bit tongue in cheek, but for superstar stat, he's arguably been the most disappointing quarterback in the NFL this year. Like last year, he should have won MVP. He last year was the best regular season he's ever had in the NFL, and if you include the playoffs, that was the best season he's ever played. And he has two MVPs, and he's been to an AFC Championship. This year, he's been almost a net negative for the team. And to be fair, the roster has holes. The receiving core is not exactly good. The offensive line is hit or miss. Derrick Henry's taken a step back. They don't have a real strong pass rush, and their cornerback room is leaves a lot to be desired. So I think the Ravens need to rebuild the roster, but I'm kind of questioning whether the quarterback's going to be there. Kansas City, I think they will end up rebuilding the roster. They've done it before. Like they did it after the 2021 season. And this is what's happening. That current iteration, that current like wave of new talent is starting to run its course. Baltimore, they need to rebuild the roster and they got to hope their quarterback bounces back. Mahomes, even though he's having a down year, I still think he's the same talented guy. I think it's just everything around him is collapsing and he's kind of being dragged down to their level. Lamar, I think, independent of the team around him, is taking a step back.
Yeah, Lamar. And the thing about Lamar is you get worried about his longevity because, like I said, his style of play. And like I said, he earlier in the year before he got hurt, he was playing pretty well. He has been bad since the injury. He's had one good game. That was against Miami. It was ironically enough his first game back. And he went 3 consecutive games without scoring a single touchdown. Finally get back in the end zone against Pittsburgh on Sunday. But again, he was not great in that game. He completed less than half of his passes, barely over half of his passes. He threw a bad interception. He, really he led a pretty poor game-winning drive attempt, in which they had a decent amount of time to go score a touchdown. Whereas Mahomes, like I think Mahomes has played better this year than you do. But the Chiefs, I trust them more. I trust their coaching staff more, as bad as Andy Reid's been this year. We don't even know if John Harbaugh is going to be in Baltimore next year, given, we'll see how the season ends. I think the Chiefs will be back to contender status sooner. I don't know if it'll be next year, but I think at least by 2027, they'll be back in the mix, back in competing for Super Bowls. Whereas the Ravens, I think their future is fairly murky, which is unfortunate for a team that looked ready-made to win a Super Bowl 2 years ago. And then the Chiefs went in there and knocked them off. They had a really good team again last year. They lose in Buffalo. And then this year, like we all thought, myself included, they had the most talented roster in the AFC. I believe I picked them to go to the AFC Championship game and lose to the Bills. And the thing, it started off with them blowing that game in week 1, and that really set the tone for their whole season. They just have not been able to get back on track. They've beaten one team with a winning record. Ironically, Lamar did not play in that game. I don't know. I don't know where you go from here if you're the Ravens personally.
Yeah, they just got to rebuild the roster and hope Lamar bounces back. Like, I think
Yeah.
if Lamar bounces back and they move on from John Harbaugh and they get a young, like, vibrant coach that's like instills some energy and some discipline and some like just general like discipline in that team, then I think they could bounce back fairly quickly. But if Lamar it doesn't get quite back to his 2023 form, not even 2024, but 2023, could get pretty shady for them, especially if the Bengals can somehow figure it out. I don't think the Browns and the Steelers are going to be any like real threats. Like I think they'll both be about the same as they were this year, next year. If Cincinnati can figure it out somehow, Baltimore's in trouble. But I don't think Baltimore's really in trouble in terms of their division. They just need to hope their quarterback starts playing like they're like the MVP status that he has.
Yeah, and that's the concern. Like, can he do that when his legs are gone? And he has been unable to do so this year. All right, moving on to another team. The Philadelphia Eagles lose their third straight. We touched on it in the last episode. They are now 8-5. They still lead the NFC East. They have a favorable schedule moving forward. But Lucas, it's no longer 2023 watch for the Eagles. It's 2023 all over again. This time it's in reverse because that season their defense was the big reason for their collapse. Their defense was horrible that year, but their offense actually was pretty good. Their offense put up a decent amount of points, but their defense was so bad it didn't matter. This year it's the opposite. Their defense is good, not as good as it was last year, but still pretty good. Their defense keeps them in games, but their offense has just been anemic the entire year. Um, like I don't know, like why does this keep happening to the Eagles after every Super Bowl appearance? Why do they start well and then just completely fall apart down the stretch? Why is this? And people are going to blame Nick Sirianni. I don't think he's completely blameless, but Nick Sirianni didn't throw 4 interceptions on Monday. Um, why can't the Eagles sustain success like some other teams, like the Chiefs have been able to?
I I just think their locker room is a little bit more toxic than I think people recognize. I don't think Nick Sirianni is does a very good consistent job of keeping a locker room together. Like I think if we saw last year where if everything's going right, they have the talent to beat anyone, and he's very great, or he's not very great. He's great at rallying the troops, firing up the troops when everything is going right, like in the Super Bowl. Like that team
Mhm.
came out firing, they were a runaway freight train. But if there's friction, he's not exactly good at like navigating the team through turbulence. If there's turbulence and it starts to get consistent, things start to unravel fairly quickly. I think Nick Sirianni has lost control of his team for this season. I think they'll probably still end up making the playoffs unless they completely collapse and lose a bunch of losable games. But this is why I've questioned Nick Sirianni. Is he's a good motivator, but like he has done a very inconsistent job, if not a poor job, of managing a locker room once there is tension. Like that's why there is value in coaches like Dan Campbell and Andy Reid that command respect. Like AJ Brown for multiple years has like caused issues. Like even last year when they won the Super Bowl, AJ Brown was still causing drama, and he's caused even more drama this year. Jalen Hurts, it just does not appear that he's back to normal at all. He's been awful for most of the year. It just doesn't really seem like it's their year, but it seems like an odd number of years they win 0 playoff games. So they'll probably end up going to the playoffs, but then get bounced. But this is why I've always questioned Nick Sirianni. Like, yeah, if everything's going well, he's a great coach, but he hasn't exactly proven that he can handle turbulent times. And that's not to say
Yeah.
every coach has always been able to handle turbulent times, the great ones it is, but like it just seems like if things get rough for him, the team just collapses. And
No.
that's the danger with the CEO type of coaches where that they don't control one side of the ball. But like your one job when you're a CEO coach is to make sure the locker room's in good shape and to keep them motivated. And
No, I get it.
Doesn't
Yeah,
seem
and
he's
that's
doing that.
fair. That's fair. You could say he's somewhat of a front runner in that respect. But let's talk about Jalen Hurts here because he was just putrid beyond words on Monday. He was, and it wasn't his first putrid performance of the season. He was awful against the Bears. He was awful against the Lions. They won that game, but he was not good. He was very bad in their first Giants game, that Thursday night game in the Meadowlands. And he wasn't good against the Chiefs. They won that game, but he did not play well in that game. Just too many of these games for him this year. And shows that the NFL stands for not for long because 10 months ago, Super Bowl MVP, the pinnacle of his career. And now there's people wondering, people want him benched. People are wondering if the Eagles should move on from him after the season, if this continues. Look, I fully expect Hurts to be their quarterback next year. That'd be pretty wild. I mean, his contract is pretty hard to get out of. But it does beg the question, like, is he the long-term guy there? Like, this is his 5th season as a starter. It's been kind of up and down. Like, he's had one excellent year in 2022. He was pretty good in 2023. I mean, that collapse wasn't nearly on him. Wasn't fully on him. It was more so on the defense, like I mentioned. Last year really wasn't great in the regular season, more of a game manager type role, but turned it on the last 2 games against the Commanders in the championship game, and then obviously the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And then this year has been a big step back. Now, obviously, Kevin Patullo's not helping. Saquon Barkley has regressed. The offensive line isn't playing as well as it once was. Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens have both been battling through injuries this year. Lane Johnson obviously has missed some time. But where do you stand with Jalen Hurts? Because, all offseason we had to hear like, oh, he's a top 5 quarterback. All he does is win. He's better than all these stat padding losers like Lamar and Burrow and Herbert and Dak. He just wins. You take him over anybody, but he's not winning this year. They're 8-5, and like I said, they'll probably make the playoffs. I still expect them to win the division, but as it stands now, I don't see them winning a playoff game. Now we'll see how they play the last 4 games if they finish 12-5 or so. But I just don't trust this team, and Hurts is a big reason why, which is pretty wild to say 10 months after being Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the Vikings game where he played literally perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe the Week 1 game against Dallas, he's been flat out like bad this year. Not like
Yeah.
bad for the contract he signed or the status of winning a Super
Like
Bowl, but
last year was different. Not to interrupt you. Last year was different.
yeah.
He wasn't great last year, but he didn't have to be great last year just because they had such big leads. Because Saquon was so good, he was kind of more of a game manager last year. Whereas this year, I think he's been actively bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's been a net negative for the team. I don't think that he's like going to be awful forever, but like I have no faith in him right now. Like just none. But at the same time, like he's not the only problem on that team. I'm still not a big fan of Sirianni, like I said. It's the offensive line has been a little bit injured this year, not been up to its normal standards. Saquon has been a ghost for a lot of the year, and it just doesn't seem like AJ Brown ever wants to consistently behave himself. Like it seems like he always wants to cause drama, but everyone thought like, oh, Jalen Hurts is supposed to be like the calming presence, and he's not being calm right now by throwing 4 interceptions on Monday Night Football in a game that was very much winnable. So I think the Eagles they're not Super Bowl contenders. I think I counted them out when we did our like bubble like a month or two ago, and I
Yeah.
think I'm proven to be right about that. Could theoretically everything turns around for Philadelphia and they make another Super Bowl run? I guess it's possible. But like at this time last year, they were a runaway freight train. Like they were like playing amazing. Now they're playing awful. Like it just and to be fair, their schedule is pretty hard down the stretch. Like it's not like the easiest stretch of games. I mean,
I mean,
yeah, they have
they have the
they have the
Commanders
Raiders.
twice and the Raiders. That's 3 of the last
Yeah.
4 games.
Well, like then they have the Bills, so it's not like they're going to be able to
Okay,
win
yeah,
out.
that's tough, obviously. Yeah.
If Washington, like, if Jaden Daniels can come back, I know he's out this week. Like, I think the Commanders want to at least beat Philadelphia once. It's a division rival, revenge for the NFC Championship. Like, I think Dan Quinn's going to have his guys ready to play that game. It's going to be a short week on the road. Like, they'll probably win. In fact, I picked them to win both games. I think they'll finish 3-1 down the stretch. I wouldn't be like, would you be shocked if they lost that Saturday game in Washington?
No,
like, if Jay Daniels
absolutely
plays,
not.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Not
I
even
think they're
close.
going to lose in Buffalo, and that right there is 2-2. Good news is I don't think that'll cost them a playoff spot, but it could. Like Dallas, I'm looking at Dallas's schedule.
Yeah, it's
I
not
don't know
hard.
if Dallas is. I don't know if Dallas is going to lose another game this year. To be fair, they also play Washington. So if I pick Philadelphia to lose to Washington, I should pick Dallas. But Dallas might be that game might be more. Dallas might need that game more than Philadelphia does when they play. Like Philadelphia week 16, Dallas week 17. But I'm saying it's not over for Philly, but they got to win their
It's
games. If they
close.
lose,
It's
I
very
think
close.
if they lose to the Raiders this week, which I would be shocked if they did because it's going to be Kenny Pickett, but maybe Kenny Pickett wants revenge. Fun fact: Kenny Pickett has more kneel downs in the Super Bowl than Jalen Hurts. So if
Oh
we're
my
just going
God.
based on the last quarterback to touch the ball at a Super Bowl, Kenny Pickett is just as much of a
True.
Super Bowl champion as Jalen Hurts. If they
True.
lose to the Raiders, which I don't think
It's
it's going to
over.
happen,
Oh my God, it's over.
Chernobyl watch. Like it's going to be even though they have a winning record and are in a playoff spot, it's going to be Chernobyl watch. So they better win. Not only do they have to win, I think they got to win by double digits. Like I think this is the game
Yeah,
where
they have to win
it's a
convincingly.
last second field goal. If it's a last second field goal, it still might be Chernobyl watch, but it might be the type of Chernobyl watch where it's like 2023 and they just get blown out in the wild card round.
Yeah, I mean, 2023 was obviously a disaster. That team was completely broken. And if you remember, Lucas, in 2023, in Week 17, the excuse me, sorry, my God, am I a smoker? On New Year's Eve, they played a 3-12 Cardinals team, and they lost them at home. They gave up 35 points. Now the difference this year is their defense is much better. And the Raiders are so bad. The Raiders are one of the worst teams I've ever seen. But it's eerily similar where you're playing a very, very bad team at home. You're in a bit of a tailspin. I don't think they'll lose, not to spoil my pick, but I wouldn't be overly shocked if they do, even with how bad the Raiders are. And that's unfortunate. Like, I don't think Sirianni will be fired, but it's like if you're Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman, you're like, why does this happen after? Why did we go Super Bowl, complete organizational meltdown? Super Bowl organizational meltdown. Like, we need some more consistency here. But Hurts has got to play better, 100%. All right, Lucas, we'll just go through this one very quickly. So we'll give our 7 playoff teams in the AFC by seeds, and then our 7 playoff teams in the NFC by seeds. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. Do you want me to do both conferences or just the AFC or NFC? First?
We'll do AFC. You do AFC. I'll do AFC. You do NFC. I'll do
1 through 7. Man, I can't believe I'm saying this, but number 1 seed Denver Broncos, 2 seed Patriots, 3 seed Texans, 4 seed Steelers, 5 seed Bills, 6 seed Jaguars, 7 seed Chargers.
All right, I'm pretty much similar. I have the 1 and 2 flipped. I think the Patriots will be the 1 seed. I think the Broncos will be the 2 seed. I think the Texans will win the AFC South and be the 3 seed. I think the Steelers will be the 4 seed. I think the Bills will get the 5 seed. I think the Jaguars will get the 6, and the Chargers will get the 7. So the only thing different is that you had Denver getting the bye. I have New England getting the bye. All right, NFC, Lucas, 1 through 7. Reel them off.
1 seed Rams, 2 seed Packers, 3 seed, even though I just hammered them for a few minutes, Eagles, 4 seed Bucks, 5 seed Seahawks, 6 seed San Francisco 49ers, And the 7th seed, I went back and forth because I think it's going to be the second place NFC North team that gets to the 7th seed, and that those two teams do play in Week 18, the Lions and the Bears. But I'm going to go with the Lions.
We literally have the same
Can you hear me?
exact. I can hear you. Yeah, we have the same exact picks. We have the
Okay,
bottom
cool.
flipped. I think the Rams will be the 1, Packers 2, Eagles 3, Buccaneers 4, Seahawks 5. I think the Lions get the 6, and I think the Niners will be the 7. I think the Bears miss the playoffs barely, because they're scheduled down the stretch. Not easy. Three of those last 4 games very losable for Chicago. Alrighty, Lucas, we gave our Super Bowl predictions last week, didn't we? I had the Rams and the Bills. You had the Rams and the Pats. Is that true?
Did we?
Or no,
I think I would have had
we
the
did our
Rams
top 3. We did our top 3 contenders per
contenders.
conference. Yeah. So what is your Super Bowl prediction? Just on little under 2 months before the big game.
I will let you go first because
All
I'm
right.
currently picking the bracket right as we speak.
All right. I have the Rams beating the Bills in Santa Clara.
I'm just picking one divisional matchup. Oh, that's going to be a tough pick. I'm going to go with that team. I'll go with that team. What'd you say?
Rams Bills.
Rams over Bills?
Yeah, the Rams winning.
I had the same one. I had the same one. So
Okay.
yeah, Rams over Bills. Even though I have the Bills as the 5, just like you did. So
Yeah, I think
for me, the matchup I was like getting a little bent out of shape about was the Texans at the Patriots in the divisional round. Like
yeah.
that could be an upset in the making. Like I wouldn't be shocked if Houston made its way to the AFC Championship. Like I think Houston could
I
beat
wouldn't
any
either.
team in the AFC. Like,
Without good their
but yeah.
defenses,
So
I agree.
nonetheless,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have the Bills. I'm gonna have the Bills winning 3 straight road playoff games, even though they haven't won one in the Josh Allen era. But I'm gonna pick them to do so. That just shows I like to live dangerously.
Yeah, for sure. And for the record, my AFC Championship prediction is the AFC East. It's the Bills and the Pats. My NFC Championship prediction is the Rams and the Packers. So, all right, Lucas. I think Lucas had the same ones. So that should take us to week 15. Um, where is the schedule? Why is this schedule not showing up? There it is. All right. The week 15 slate, there are no more bye weeks. The bye weeks are all used up for every team in the NFL. We will make our picks. So standings update for the picks. So my father is still in first place at 143 and 63. Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated, his picks are available online, is 138 and 68. I am 133 and 75, and then Lucas is 126 and 82. So our picks for week 15, 4 weeks left in the regular season. It kicks off tomorrow night with an NFC South matchup. Oh, Jesus. Between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons. Give me the Bucks to win that game at home. Browns Bears in a game that could be negative 20 degrees in Chicago. Give me the Bears to win that game. Bengals Ravens. I'm going to take the Bengals actually to win at home. Texans Cardinals. Texans. That's very easy. I don't think the Cardinals will score double digits in this one. Jaguars Jets. It feels like these two play each other every year. I'll take the Jaguars to win. I'll actually take the Jets to cover. Weirdly, this feels like a game that will be closer than people think. Chiefs Chargers. I'm taking the Chargers. I don't care. Like this Chiefs team, I'm done picking them. I'm done trusting them. They have done nothing to earn my trust. Give me the Chargers to win and put the final nail in the coffin for the 2025 Kansas City Chiefs. Patriots Bills. I'll take the Bills. I have a difficult time seeing them getting swept by New England. Giants Commanders. I'm actually going to take the Giants to win this game at home. I think they're due for a win. I think they're a little better than their 2-11 record would indicate. Eagles Raiders. I'll take the Eagles. The Raiders are so violently bad. I just don't, even with the Eagles being on Chernobyl watch, I think they'll win this game at home. I don't know if they'll cover though, however. Let's go to the afternoon slate. Broncos Packers. Give me the Packers to win this game on the road to give Denver their first home loss of the season. Their first loss since week 3. Rams Lions, a big NFC matchup. Give me the Rams at home over Detroit. Saints Panthers. I'm actually going to take the Saints. I'm going to have them win their second straight. I like what I've seen from Tyler Shuck. Bryce Young to me is a little bit too inconsistent for my liking. So the Saints get their 4th win of the year. Seahawks Colts. Maybe Phillip Rivers plays in this game. Maybe he doesn't. Regardless, I'm taking Seattle rather convincingly. I don't think 44-year-old Phillip Rivers or Riley Leonard is going to go win that game in the Pacific Northwest. And then 49ers, Titans. I mean, come on, Niners easily. Sunday Night Football, Cowboys, Vikings. I'll take the Cowboys. Monday Night Football, Steelers, Dolphins. We'll take the Steelers at home.
Excellent. Okay, so just finishing up my picks. Yep. Okay. Falcons, Bucks. Give me the Bucks. Browns, Bears. Give me the Bears. Ravens, Bengals. Cincinnati will win. Houston, Cardinals. I'm going to stop doing that. Houston wins. Jets, Jaguars, Jaguars. Chargers, Chiefs. Give me the Chargers. Bills, Patriots. Give me the Bills. Commanders and the New York Giants. I'm going to go with the New York Giants to win that football game. Raiders, Eagles. Give me the Raiders. Or no, give me the Eagles. Give me the Eagles. Sorry. I meant to say the Eagles. Packers and the Broncos. Give me Green Bay. I think Green Bay gets a gritty road win. Lions, Rams. Give me the Rams. Panthers and the Saints. I'm going to take the Panthers. I think coming off a bye, they're going to be desperate to win this game for the playoff spot. I think the Saints are kind of riding high after a big upset. They'll come back down to earth. Seahawks, Colts. Titans and the Niners.
Wait, what?
Oh, Seahawks.
I was gonna
Sorry.
say.
That's the second time I did that in 30 seconds. Like, no,
Yeah.
Seahawks. No, though I'll be rooting for Phillip Rivers if he wins that game. Vikings, Cowboys. Give me the Cowboys. I gotta stop saying. Dolphins, Steelers. Give me the Steelers. Not a great showing for me in the last handful of those picks.
It's
I'm not
late.
sure how many disagreements.
It's understandable.
Not sure how many disagreements we had, but
we had one. I took the Saints. You took the Panthers. That's it. We agreed on every other one.
we're on the same wavelength.
So Matt Verderam's picks, I already had them written down. He went with the Bucks over the Falcons, the Bears over the Browns, the Bengals over the Ravens, the Chargers over the Chiefs. If Verderam's picking against the Chiefs, you know it's grim. The Bills over the Patriots, the Giants over the Commanders, the Eagles over the Raiders, the Jaguars over the Jets, the Texans over the Cardinals, the Packers over the Broncos, the Rams over the Lions, the Panthers over the Saints, the Niners over the Titans, the Seahawks over the Colts, the Cowboys over the Vikings, and then the Steelers over the Dolphins. So he had the exact same picks as Lucas. I feel like I'm going against the grain with my Saints pick. I don't know, man. I just have a weird feeling. So, all right, that should about wrap up our episode to preview Week 15. We'll be back next Tuesday to recap Week 15, and then we'll be back a week from today to give our look ahead to Week 16. So, Lucas, thank you for coming on as always, and we will see you next week.